Well, the fall of Sirte and the subsequent capture and death of Gaddafi represents a significant moment in Libya's history. To throw more light on this, I'm now being joined in the news at 10 by the Acting Director General of the Nigerian Institute for International Affairs, Professor Bola Akinterinwa. Thanks so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's been a day of images and footages, all sorts of footage on our televisions. What was your initial reaction when you saw and heard that Gaddafi had been killed?
Because I expected it, so it was not a big deal for me. The very day the revolution started, there were pointers that sooner or later Gaddafi will naturally face the music, more so because he adopted a confrontational attitudinal disposition to the issue.
When you say you expected it, did you expect him to remain in Sirte? A lot of security experts were wondering why he remained there, with all the speculation of him probably being in Mali or Niger.
I want to believe that Sirte is the natural place, natural fortress that he can find solace and support. That's his natural birthplace. To expect him to run to other countries, for a man of his caliber, he wouldn't, for various reasons. Reason one is that any country he goes to, the International Criminal Court is on his trail. In that case, the moment he started by attacking protesters, demonstrators that were not carrying arms, ab initio, responding with heavy attacks, making the international community to see him as having abused fundamental rights, then he has offended international community as a whole. Now, any country he goes to, the host with him will be pursued.
Looking at the reactions on the streets, there was so much celebration, so much joy from the people, even late into the evening, when we're reading earlier on. Are you as optimistic as they are that the violent regime has come to an end?
It depends on what we are looking at. Since the violence in Libya can be seen as a continuum, so at the lowest level, the first ladder now is to remove the first source of violence, and that's Gaddafi. It's removed. So we can be looking at the lessening of tensions. But when we look at the scenarios in Libya, the division, the factional groups there, we can still expect that, yes, we are still far away from having an enduring peace there. But at least it must begin at one level.
One major reaction that resonated with a lot of people was from the US President Barack Obama. I'm going to quote him here. He said that the death of Gaddafi is a powerful rebuke to dictatorship. Are there any lessons in that for other Arab countries that are in a similar situation as Libya? Would they all be wondering how is it all going to pan out in the end?
To an extent, one can agree with Barack Obama. It's a rebuke. Whether it is powerful, that one is arguable. It's a pointer to those leaders that are yet to begin to see more clearly on this matter. Within the framework of the Arab Spring, those that take Syria, for instance, where the government still believes that, look, it can continue. Now, whoever takes a deeper reflection on the situation in Gaddafi's Libya, you can now see for a head of state that enjoyed international privileges, respect, now killed like a dog
and dragged through the streets.
Now, why will any other leader not begin to learn from that? Additionally, one can agree with the US president that at the end of the day, those African leaders that are yet to learn that power is transcendent, and that no matter how benevolent dictatorship is all about, no form of dictatorship is acceptable anymore.
Okay, let's look quickly at the structure of the government post-Gaddafi. We have the NTC, the National Transitional Council. It's obviously temporary, they will go. How do you see them restructuring the leadership in terms of what's it going to look like, elections? What do you see for Libya post-Gaddafi?
That is still a very difficult scenario to begin to paint, because for now, the NTC is looking at how to bring the various stakeholders together. When Gaddafi was alive, he was the legislature, he was the executive, he was the judiciary. So it is not that there is any particular foundation for democracy. So they are going to start afresh. Now we really cannot say precisely the methodological approach that is likely to be adopted by them, but we can begin to look at the fact that, well, having been so much assisted by the Western countries, the NATO allies, it is very possible that Libya may take a cue from the experiences of the Western world.
Okay. I'm just quickly now, before we go, I was going to talk about NATO and the fact that a lot of this wouldn't have been possible without them. Is there work done in Libya? Are they going to pack up and that would be it?
It is not possible for NATO countries to have invested much time, resources, and not expect them to want to reap the fruits of their labor. It's only on this side of Africa that the humanitarian nature of the black man, the African hospitality, which is a factor in international relations, that we don't bother much when we invest. We give, we assist. Black people, African people are more altruistic than any other group of people in the world. So we sow without waiting to reap.
All right.
But it's not the same thing for the more advanced countries.
Okay,
they give you money, they want to take back from it too.